We made an initial assessment to check its general health, watched its movement for a couple of minutes, noted its breathing. Everything seemed completely normal, so I'm happy to vaccinate this animal, so that's what we're going to do now. As you can see, it's very easy, very quick. Animal doesn't really react to the injection at all. Again, after the injection, we'll just observe the animal for a couple of minutes to make sure there's no adverse reaction to it. And if there isn't, we'll carry on, we'll fur clip it, spray it, so that if it's recaught in the next couple of days, we'll be able to identify it as an animal that's already been vaccinated. Okay, got one of this year's cubs here. Looks to be in very good condition. Slight abrasions on the snout, just where it's been rubbing up against the bars. But generally looks in good condition. No obvious problems, and it looks fit enough to be vaccinated, so that's what I'm going to do now. Can you pass me the wicket, please? quite spicy little one. Again, we'll just watch it for a couple of minutes after it's been injected, just to check it doesn't have a reaction to the injection, which it doesn't seem to have. Job done.
So, I'm with Dr. Lizzie Wilberforce. Lizzie, I actually get to see our faces for once, which is not usually the method that we approach. And we're in Castlewoods Nature Reserve in Carmarthenshire, aren't we, Lizzie? And we've been out very early this morning. Very early
this morning, yeah.
And we're sat by a very active badger set. And just tell us briefly a little bit about what we've been doing this morning then.
Right, well, yeah, this is one of quite a few big sets that we've got within the nature reserve here. The woodland, we manage the woodland, and it's on quite a kind of steep slope, a lot of it, but it's surrounded by amazing pasture land, so it's good area for badger foraging, and a lot of the sets are in the woodland. So what we've been doing this morning is we've been out very early with Andrew, our contractor from Ecocon, vaccinating these badgers against bovine TB.
Okay, brilliant. I mean, yes, these, as you say, these areas are a lot of pasture land in this valley, all the way up actually, isn't it? So,
It is,
and they
yeah.
used to be called Maesa Awr, I think, in the Welsh, fields of gold. So they were very good dairy land, and it's still a lot of dairy and beef cattle in the area, aren't there? So it's really important that we're vaccinating our badgers to kind of reduce the amount of potential interaction. To reduce the amount of sort of potential issues with bovine TB. So.
Yep.
By vaccinating these badgers, how much do we think that's going to have an impact on the sort of immediate area?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, because although there's good evidence for the effectiveness of the vaccine in reducing the disease burden in the badger population, what we haven't had yet is a field-scale trial that shows the knock-on impact of that in terms of the disease in the cattle. But it's quite reasonable to assume that if the vaccine is effective in reducing the kind of prevalence of the disease in badgers, that is surely got to help. And I think it's important for us. I mean, we as a movement, the Wildlife Trust, have been very anti-culling of badgers. We don't believe it's effective as a disease control mechanism. So this is our attempt to do our bit to what we believe is the best solution available at the moment. So if we can, what we've done today is we've been very fortunate that in the first phase of this vaccination we've caught a lot of cubs, which are the ones that they're the animals we really want to catch. They're not likely to have been exposed to infection yet. So if we can increase their immunity, then hopefully we can cut down. We know TB's in this area. We've had cattle herds in the immediate area that have had TB breakdowns. So we're hoping we can do our bit to help eradicate that.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing, isn't it? You know, we could vaccinate adults with TB, and obviously the vaccination wouldn't have any effect then, would it? But if we get the cubs before they're exposed.
Yes, that's right, and we're committed to a 5-year programme. So that the intention of that is that over a time frame of 5 years, you will see a turnover of badgers in the wild population. And so if we can catch all the young animals as they come through in that 5-year period, then hopefully we'll get a sort of set level immunity.
Yeah, and I mean what we videoed this morning is Andrew from Ecocon, and he's been doing sort of vaccination. He's got about 10 young ones in the last couple of days, is that right?
Yeah, so we've done the first sort of phase within the woods, so we're doing the entire nature reserve in 2 sessions. So yeah, that's the kind of western section of the badger population that we've done so far. So yeah, so far it's been really promising, and we were lucky. We had a lot of volunteers help last year with the set survey, which has is good. We spent quite a lot of days. It's a steep reserve, so there's a big group of us kind of sort of sweeping through the woods, mapping all the badger sets and all the badger set entrances and the outliers and everything. And that's really informed what we're doing today.
And I mean, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because we so they are massive, the sets, aren't they? And they are quite extensive. And
They are, absolutely, but I mean, we're in a bit of the woods today that we wouldn't normally have reason to come to. And although when we did the sweep through, I mean, I'd already been managing the site for sort of 5 years when we did the set survey. And although some of the big sets, obviously, I was well aware of, we did find some that I completely oblivious to the fact that they were there. I mean, there may be outliers from some of the main sets, but nonetheless, it's 25 hectares of woodland and very steep, and they're quite adept at hiding themselves away.
Yeah. So, I mean, over the next 5 years, we'll continue the vaccination each year in summertime when the cubs are newly out of the sets.
Yes, that's right. So there's guidelines about the appropriate time of year, so you're not sort of doing the actual breeding period. We won't be active. So hopefully it'll be this time summer next year we'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the process is we'll trap, we'll vaccinate and release. And I mean, there is a small level of stress with the animal, isn't there? But it's a very short period they're in the trap.
It's a very short period, yes, and the licensing terms are very strict. We're done. It's not even 7 o'clock in the morning yet, and we're all done. So they're all out at the cages and been processed by then. The traps are set late in the evening as well. So they're in the cages for the minimum period, and you can't. We've only trapped in this area for 2 consecutive nights now, so we know that no animal's going to be spending a disproportionate amount of time in those cages. So it's all very tightly regulated, and Andrew's licensed is got lots of licences and training that you've got to do, which is why we've brought a contractor in, because we don't have the capacity or the skills to do that, and it's very there's a tight legal controls on this and on the reporting. So. Yeah.
And he's clearly very experienced and knows an awful lot about the behaviour of the badgers and what sort of they are doing and why they are reacting in a certain way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're very fortunate with Andrew. He's been involved in a lot of this work going back well before the sort of vaccination was being deployed in the field. So, very confident that we're doing a really good job here, which is great.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been doing the same in the intensive action area, haven't we, in Pembrokeshire?
Yes, so that's Welsh Government leading that. I mean, we're outside the intensive action area here, which is great. I mean, I'm hoping that what we're doing here will encourage other people to look at what we're doing and see that it's quite feasible. It doesn't need to be expensive necessarily, especially when you look at it in terms of per head of cattle protected rather than per badger, which is the way you would ordinarily look at vaccination costings. But we've got this. This is being led by us with funding from Welsh Government and also from People's Postcode Lottery and our own appeal, actually. So our members have supported this, which is brilliant. But some of our badgers in the intensive action area are being vaccinated directly by Welsh Government as part of their programme.
Okay. And I mean, other people, landowners, can apply for the Welsh Government funding, can't they? There is a
yeah,
grant.
Yes. It was an open. I mean, there are some terms on the there are some terms on the grant in terms of who can apply, because you've got to have an agricultural beneficiary, and there's various rules. But it is an open grant. I don't think they've confirmed whether they're opening it again yet this year, but I'm sure they're hoping to.
So worth keeping an eye on that
Oh,
if you are
definitely.
in that sort of situation.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.